All right, Senator Tuberville, we got a lot to talk to you about. Thanks for joining us here. I'll actually start just with the shutdown. Is the Republican caucus, is everyone standing strong on this one? Anybody getting weak in the knees? You got to let us know. We can't have that stuff. No caving allowed.
Well, I've seen a couple of soft movements here lately from Republicans, but I think there's more on the side of Democrats. I think the polling is going against them, but we just got to hold strong, guys. If we don't hold strong, in which we normally don't on the Republican side, somebody starts to cave, then we're going to be in for a $1.5 trillion more that the American taxpayers are going to lose because of the corrupt Democrats and the Socialist Party trying to spend everything they send up here.
Do you get the sense, because I don't, I've been on the road. I was just down in Florida. I've been traveling all fall. But since the shutdown started, no one asked me about it. And I understand that it's a real focus in Washington, D.C., but I don't get the sense that Democrats are actually creating some form of huge uproar over the government being shut down. And now we've got President Trump trying to travel to the Middle East and potentially bringing peace there. I feel like that story is far more important and attention gathering right now than anything relating to the shutdown. I'm curious what you hear when you are on the road and people talk to you about things impacting their lives.
Well, I hear more about tariffs than I do anything. That's because of the farmers. They're struggling, and we've got to protect our farmers. We got to protect our military and law enforcement during this shutdown. But, the Democrats, they have nothing to hang their hat on. And so now they've got something they can, we can fight back here. There's something some people might agree with us, because nothing else does. Very few Americans agree with the Democratic Party on anything that they've done or try to do or anything that they believe in. So we just got to hold on. We just got to keep pushing, give President Trump and Scott Bassett and the people over in the administration an opportunity to clean out the fat of this bloated government of 3 million government employees. My gosh. I mean, we got people that we don't even know get a paycheck. And so at the end of the day, we've got to clean this mess up.
Senator Tuberville, it's absolutely a day of some celebration from the Trump side of things, given the ceasefire. I wanted to just get your reaction to what this president seems to have accomplished and the satisfaction that I'm sure he and many of us get from seeing even people who never give Trump anything, never give him the benefit of the doubt, never give him a fair shot. They're even having to say, this is a pretty big deal that he has negotiated between Israel and Hamas.
Yeah, this is huge. And we got to get the hostages out. We got to get out of this mess. Mike Huckabee, the ambassador, Marco Rubio, Witkoff, all these people, they have been working their tails off trying to get something done there and also in Ukraine and Russia. So hopefully this works out. It's a 20-point plan. First of all, if we can get the hostages out, I mean, President Trump has done his job, because that is our main goal, is get these people loose, get them out of these tunnels, these caves, give them some food, get them back to society. This group that we're fighting, this Islamic terrorism that we're fighting within Hamas, they are absolutely trying to destroy that part of the country. And by the way, they're coming to a theater near us, and we better watch out.
We're talking to Senator Tommy Tuberville. He's the next governor of Alabama. I know you're in the midst of your governor's campaign while also being a senator. I'm sure you saw, I did a sit down with Paul Finebaum, a guy you've known from college football, I imagine, for a long time in the state of Alabama. He hasn't officially announced, but what's your reaction to what kind of candidate Paul Finebaum might be if he ran in the primary to potentially be a senator from Alabama? What do you know about him? What do you think about the idea?
Yeah, I've been friends with Paul for 30 years, and even when I was an assistant coach. He's made a name for himself. He's got 100% name ID in Alabama. I told him he's also made everybody mad in Alabama at one time, but that was his job, making people, a conversation about sports. Now, he's never been in politics, but neither had I. He asked me what I thought, and I said, well, if you're going to get into this, and I'm not supporting anybody, that's not my job. I've talked to everybody that's running for my position, and I said, you got to get out there and sell yourself, not as a media person, but as somebody that's going to represent the people of Alabama in this country. So I heard your interview. I've talked to him. I think he's really, really looking into it, and I think that he's about had it with a lot of things that have gone on in his previous life professionally. And, he's an American, but he's got to get out and sell the point and the fact of, am I Trump? He's got to be a Trump guy in Alabama. He's got to be conservative, and he's got to show and tell people and convince people that that's what he's going to do.
You worked in sports as a head coach for a long time. And by the way, you beat Alabama 6 years in a row as an Auburn coach and got elected in the state of Alabama. So that in and of itself, and you're going to be the governor now in a state where Alabama is the majority fan base. Auburn's got a great fan base too. Paul's fed up, I think. You can kind of read it in that conversation with Disney and ESPN deciding that they're going to go full left wing. You've been doing sports a long time. Would you have ever believed that Disney and ESPN were going to turn ESPN into another arm of MSNBC? Would you have ever believed that could be possible in the world of sports?
No, never would have believed it or wanted to believe it. And I just can't believe that an entity that big that touches so many people, that has really lived off the American people and true patriotism, would go that direction. I worked with Mike Patrick one year as his color guy, and he was the play-by-play guy in his last year for ESPN and ABC. And I've never seen such far left groups in my life. I mean, it was just that's when Trump first got elected, and it was just a fight from the start to the finish when you're around a lot of those people that couldn't believe that I was a Trump supporter. So at the end of the day, you've got different factions in our country. The problem that I'm having today is, how much does the Democratic Party really love this country? How much do they love our Constitution? We all have different opinions, but my God, folks, look what they did. I'm in the Elite Eight. I had my phones tapped by the FBI under the Department of Justice, a sitting United States senator. You've got to be kidding me. So it is, I just don't understand it. I really don't, of the mindset of the people that are trying. And I think it's their way of life is they want to change everything that we're doing and go to another type of country that we're not going to allow that to happen.
You've known Paul Finebaum, you said, for 30 years. I understand that you are not going to endorse. This is your seat that's going to be up for grabs. Based on your conversations, do you think he's going to run, or do you think he's not going to run?
I think it's more that he is than he's not. Now, again, this is a week or so ago, the last time I talked to him, and I said, Paul, you got to do your due diligence. You got to go out and you got to start making phone calls. You got to talk to people. Don't take my word for it. I'm one vote, and I got an opinion, but you have to go and talk to people and try to get 2 million people to vote for you. And there's a lot of convincing you're going to have to do. But I told the same thing to Steve Marshall, the Attorney General, the same thing to Barry Moore, who's in Congress, is running for this seat. You have got to tell them what you stand for. And people got to believe that. You got to be convincing. I did that for a year and a half. When I was football coach and I said, I'm going to run for Senate, I went to every little town, every meeting, every farm meeting, and told them, listen, I'm running, and this is what I believe in. Forget about coaching. Just this is what I believe in. And thank goodness, I don't think they elected me as coach. They elected me for my beliefs and my love for the country.
Senator Tuberville, always appreciate you making the time for us here on Clay and Buck. Thank you, sir.
All right, guys. Thank you. God bless.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation honors America's heroes and their families when tragedy strikes. Heroes like Scott Abrams. For more than 3 decades, Scott served his community and country as a United States Marine, a New York City police detective, and a volunteer firefighter. While he was on his NYPD motorcycle escorting the funeral procession of a 4-year-old child, his life changed in an instant. Scott was hit by a bus, crushing 4 vertebrae in his neck and leaving him partially paralyzed. Scott's recovery was grueling, but through unwavering love, strength, and perseverance, Scott, his wife Tara, and their son Joshua made it through unimaginable challenges. Tunnel to Towers honored Scott and his family with a mortgage-free smart home. Thanks to supporters like you, Scott now has a home he can move freely in as he heals and raises his family with dignity. More heroes are waiting and in need of assistance. Honor their sacrifices now. Join us in donating $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And be sure to hit that like button.